Hello and welcome to another day in the arena, and it is my pleasure today to bring you what I call Avengers Paradox. The Paradox engine deck, I put up a preview game of it. You asked, you shall receive. Welcome to the Jank tank. Complete with Mike Punch. That was silly. So we are on the play here. This hand is totally keepable thanks to the two cantrips. So it's called Avengers Paradox because another streamer, the Asian Avenger, I give credit for the design of the deck. He sent me the list. I played with it a bit. I've changed a number of things to my liking. For example, probably the biggest thing that I don't think Asian Avenger would ever change is the use of I use Commit to Memory. He uses Overwhelming Insight to draw 7 cards straight up at sorcery speed for 7 mana. I prefer Commit to Memory because for 4 mana you get a spell that removes something from the opponent's board or maybe counters a counter spell, and then the other side of it is 6 mana to draw 7 cards instead of the 7 mana to draw 7 cards. But the real goal of the deck, if you didn't catch that little preview video, is Paradox Engine, untapping a bunch of mana dorks like Manalith, Power Stone Shard, and Gilded Lotus to make a ton of mana, and then you Banefire your opponent for a silly number. Maybe something like 200 is the number you could do. Keep them coming. Alright, looks like our opponent's on a life gain type deck. I'm excited because I believe we have everything we need. Assuming that our opponent doesn't find a way to disrupt us, we should be able to play Power Stone Shard this turn, Inventor's Fair and Gilded Lotus next turn, and the turn after that, Paradox Engine, Manalith can untap everything, Commit can cast something, untap everything, and then cast Memory. So, if our opponent isn't going to throw something at us along the lines of a cast out, things should be great. An opt is also kind of like insurance that we have a way to go off. Let's play the Lotus, and I'll play the Manalith. But you'll see I'm unlikely to cast the opt this turn, but we'll see what happens. Our opponent might do something to this Lotus, and if they do, it might be wise to use an opt. The cats are out in force lately. The Brewer's Delight seems to have encouraged that. Okay, our opponent's got a Huatli. I am just going to save the opt, and you'll see why next turn. You need a spell.
Let's end this foolish tale before it begins, huh?
Once you resolve a Paradox Engine, any spell will let you untap and make a lot of mana. So saving an opt is actually a good call here. Is that lethal? No. From the will of many, I don't think so. Might of 4, one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh my god, it is. Oh my god. I missed the life gain trigger. It got me. It got me. Son of a... How? How'd the kitties get so fast? That curve. That perfect curve. No! Oh man, I was so pumped. Our hand was great. I think we would have won the very next turn easily. Holy smokes. Alrighty. Try again, I guess. Whoa. Whoa. I don't know if I'll be okay. I don't know, man. I left a mark. I left a mark on my soul. Evil kitties. Okay, we have 2 big pieces we need and nothing in between, and anticipate to try to fill it in. We need to draw a mana dork and a land, and then another land. Can anticipate help us get there? Maybe. Double black nothing, huh? Love it. Do more of that. the slower the deck, the better this deck gets. The more removal spells they play, the better this deck gets. It's even pretty resilient to hand destruction. Alright, I'll take the shard. And we need to draw a land, or I need to anticipate for one. Another shard. Wow. Is there land in my deck? Hello? Hello, anybody? Any land? Lands? Me? Ma? What am I supposed to do with this? Yeah, Swans can wait. I'm just going to discard this commit. So that was special. How many cards have we looked at? No land? About 20? I don't know why it shows these on top of the deck. They were on the bottom. That I am certain of. Not the way Anticipate works. Plague Mare. Get that 2-2 beater going, alright? Let's get this thing started. The Stronghold. What's the play? Okay, mana up. Sure. Bane Whippin'. Some kind of a super value-y creature deck. Yeah, whip yourself. Decline. Alright. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1. We can play it in either order, I guess. One leaves a Lotus open, though. The other doesn't. So that means we can anticipate again. So this is the better way to do it. We'll lead with the Shard. Shards will each tap for 2 mana instead of 1. Play Lotus. And I guess we'll anticipate? No, I'll save it. Because, again, you want to play them when you go off. And I don't think I can anticipate into anything that'll help us go off. Then we'll find out if the opponent's a sport or not, and if they're going to let us do our combo. Of course, I've said that last time, and got destroyed, and here's the opponent going big on mana, so can they kill me this turn? That is not scary. Alright, my turn. Paradox Engine. Blue mana. Gilded Lotus. Untap everything. Opponent apparently knows how this plays out and is going to straight scoop. Probably sitting on 100 ways to kill creatures. No ways to kill artifacts. So, unfortunately, you don't know how this plays out yet, unless you might have watched the Banefire for 200 video, but we still want to show it in this particular video, and I would rather see the combo go completely off before going over the deck list so that you really saw what's in it and what it does. So let's give this another shot. Look, a win con. So I'm a little nervous about using our only blue source and possibly not finding another blue source, but that's probably just leftover residual fear from last game. The odds are actually well above 50% that we can find one in the next 5 cards, so I'm going to keep. Hello indeed. Sassaflash with manners. Hashtag manners, kids. Well, I know what I'm looking for, so I'm not going to waste my opponent's time. And yay! Did it. The Legion's Landing will bring out the token. And it looks like another kind of green-white aggro deck. They are running wild lately. Not sure what's going on there. Bring out the Shard. We are on our way. We are going to need to find a Paradox Engine, but things are going swimmingly. History of Benalia. So our opponent's going to dial up some pressure. Alright, Lotus. Frog in my throat. I think I'll Banefire the Knight and just keep our opponent's offense low. Then we can also commit a few. We're probably going to need to buy some time. As right now, we've got all the pieces. Our opponent doesn't seem to have the interaction. So if we can buy some time, find the Paradox Engine, we'll be fine. Falling Cavalry. That's a lot of knight power. Holy crap. Well, alrighty then. Can we just go for it? Let's find out. That was the top deck. So we'll generate this mana. We'll commit a Knight token. Untap the mana. Generate this mana. Commit a Knight token. Generate this mana. Fire off the memory. Untap our stuff. Draw 7. And see how much further we can take this. Unfortunately, I don't see a card draw spell in there, or a cantrip, so the party's gonna end right here. I guess I should play out the rest of my artifacts. The one reason not to would be Cleansing Nova, which would be absolutely ferocious no matter what, so... we could also just save them, and then generate a lot of mana next turn. I guess that's fine, and I can also hold on to the Hour of Devastation. Yeah, we don't need to play all these out this turn. We can play them out next turn. Hopefully our Paradox Engine lives. Alright, end turn. So, sometimes your combo fizzles. Just warning everybody. But cards like Hour of Devastation kind of let you play through that. Oh my. Well, they don't have too wide of a board that I feel need to Hour of Devastate here. And again, I'll just hold. Let's see, how much damage can he proper deal me? Can flip this. Yeah, I think I'm just taking this next one, as we're waiting to try to draw another cantrip or another way to go off. Another commit to memory, something like that. There's a critter I can blow up. There's some critters I can blow up. And it looks like that's what's going to have to happen as we continue to draw Icy Coldness. So we could draw Banefire and just win. We can draw... We have 3 Commit to Memories, 4 Strategic Planning, 4 Opt, 4 Anticipate in the deck to get this party started again. And our opponent's laying their hand out there. It is a lethal board as it sits, so we're down to our last draw step. It is a commit. All right. Play a shard. Here we go. Last possible draw step hype. It at least gives us a chance. Not a sure thing by any stretch of the imagination, but you're telling me there's a chance. We could play the Paradox Engines and generate even more mana, but we're not going to need it. At this point, if we draw the Banefire, we just win anyway. So let's get the job done. I'm gonna send away the Anointed Procession, because we might find an Hour of Devastation and hit this loop all over again. Alright, that's a lot of mana. Let's shuffle up and deal. Okay, we have some cantrips. We have an Inventor's Fair. Inventor's Fair can get something out of the deck. Let's go. Let's do it. Did I... Yes, I did put in a Walking Ballista for exactly this reason, because oftentimes I would be going off, but the Inventor's Fair would be unable to finish the job, and just find mana rocks. So there's a walking ballista. And I think we can easily get it high enough. Let's see, what does it take? It takes 50 mana. 49.50, yep. So this is going to be the long way of winning with all the clicks. But it is another way to do it besides that Banefire you saw. Can we beat the clock now is the question. It is resetting ever so slightly every time that we fire away the Walking Ballista. And that's enough. The opponent has seen enough. The writing is on the wall. It would just take quite a while to get there. Well, shall we again? It's been an eventful video. You saw the Walking Ballista kill. I think we can look at the deck now. You've seen a good amount of it. Make obsolete. Love it. Love the name of the card anyway. All right. Let's talk about this brew. We've got some sauce in it. A few changes I've made since you may have seen in the last video is chart a course out, strategic planning in. Just gets you 3 deeper versus 2 deeper is a big deal, and you never attacked, so chart a course never got you ahead on cards, and you never really wanted to discard anything to your graveyard. You don't play with the graveyard. You just shuffle it back in with commit to memory. So strategic planning, just an upgrade there, at least in my book, to get deeper for what you really need. And then we saw the Chaos Wand for the absolute shenanigans. Not very useful against the green-white creature decks we've been playing, though. 3 hours of devastation, because sometimes you just need to clean it up. You can, there is a different way to play the deck. I tried it, where you cut the Hour of Devastations, you cut the Banefire, so you don't play any red. You go up to 4 Walking Ballista, and maybe you run 1 more Paradox Engine or something like that. And it's cleaner. The Ballista still kills just fine. I just find sometimes, the only real shot you have against the super go-wide decks, when they're fast enough, is turn 3 Manalith, turn 4 Hour of Devastation, right? Sometimes that is good enough to buy you 2 or 3 turns, which you need to go off, and that's what it's for. All right. Down here, we just have the finishers, Walking Ballista, Banefire. Gilded Lotus is a key piece to get out, along with the Mighty Paradox Engine. And then the mana base, just trying to make sure we can cast our stuff. Not too much to say. I still like... What? Words. I've been so happy since I put commit to memory in the deck ×4, and I wouldn't change that at all. It's been doing wonders for me as far as beating control decks. You can mess with their stuff. The original version also ran 4 Supreme Will, which I just couldn't make work with the mana curve. It seemed like I rarely got to use a Supreme Will the way I wanted to, but it is an option. Maybe you could cut back some of the Manaliths, but the mana, because I always wanted the shards more, and they seem to do the job, and without a Gilded Lotus, it's so hard to make it happen anyway. So the idea of cutting some Manalith for some Supreme Will doesn't sound that terrible to me, and is worth trying out. So I've been playing this deck for about only 3 or 4 days. I love the version I have. I can't promise you it's optimal. You should play with it some yourself. I would love to hear about your adventures in Avengers Paradox Engine Land. Feel free to get in Discord and talk about it, or post it in the YouTube comments. It would really help me out. There's a lot of things I love about the deck. I don't know if it will ever be outside the Jank tank, if it can make 2nd tier or 1st tier, but I have, in quick constructed events, made it to 7 wins twice now with the deck. So there is something there, and I just don't know if I found the build, but I like it. It's very fun, and as long as the opponent isn't playing a Braid, you do okay. All right. Moving on up the chain. Our opponent with double swamp opening, similar to last opponent, if they're going to play a lot of removal, this is the matchup you want. However, something's holding priority. Maybe our opponent has something they can cycle? What? Maybe they have a Walking Ballista in hand. But they are holding priority somehow. Let's take a strategic planning. Right now we really want a Gilded Lotus. That's about it. That's what we need. I could take a second Paradox Engine here. The philosophy behind that would be Doomfall. And I think that's a good pull. So yeah, this keeps us Doomfall proof. Now if the opponent exiles our Banefire, that's scary. It leaves us with one Walking Ballista to do the winning, but at least we would have something. So it was a cycle land that was holding them up. A Duress, similar to Doomfall, keeping our hand duress proof by taking a second Paradox Engine. I think most players on level 1 would immediately take anything but the Paradox Engine because it's legendary and they already have one in their hand. But against black, you gotta think that hand destruction's gonna come in. So the opponent takes the Banefire. Going to the graveyard is not a big deal. They can shuffle it right back in. And Gifted Aetherborn's here. It's not the quickest clock. I'm gonna play the Inventor's Fair. Our opponent doesn't know about the Sulfur Falls, but they know about the Fair from seeing our hand. Drop the Manalith and we'll say go. I'm probably going to... Well, I do need a Gilded Lotus, so I should opt now and start working on finding that Gilded Lotus to go with the engine. We need, basically the combo that you need is a Mana Rock, a Gilded Lotus, a Paradox Engine, and a spell. Something to untap and set the party off. An Inventor's Fair can get a Gilded Lotus if we find one more artifact, so that's something to keep in mind when we're opting here. Gifted Aetherborn getting in, and let's get to work. What are we going to find? Another Mana Rock. Well, we can play the engine. Next turn we can play this. 1, 2, 3, and not have the mana, unfortunately, to use the Fair to go get a Lotus. But is that better than random draw off the top, is the question. Because it does ensure that we can use our Inventor's Fair once the engine gets going. I'm going to keep it. It's slow, but I think that's okay against the mono black deck. As long as we get to a spot where we can use our... Never mind. Everything's fine. So now the question is, do we also play our Manalith this turn? Or do we save it? I'm going to just play it out. I think having as much mana as possible. Next turn, we can play the engine. We might not get to untap it unless we top deck a spell, but we can sacrifice Inventor's Fair and with the mana we make and go get Chaos Wand, Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista is also interesting because you can play it for 0 and untap all your stuff for free, which in some cases where you just need to generate enough mana to go off without any draw spells, it's an interesting play. If you, say, had Banefire and Walking Ballista in your hand at the same time and only like 10 mana and a Gilded Lotus and 2 Manaliths. And a Paradox Engine, of course. Describing those situations, I don't know if it's very useful for those watching at home. I know it's hard to visualize all of that all the way through, but I find it a fun mental exercise myself. All right, come on, hit me. Hit me with a good card. Let's do this. That's a good card. That will do the job. It'll at least get us somewhere. It may not do all the job, but it will make enough mana that we can use Inventor's Fair, fetch a Chaos Wand, play it, and start using it. And if we start hitting more draw spells, well, away we go. Okay, and strategic planning. Now, because I can get the Chaos Wand with the Fair, I'm considering... I guess I'll see how much mana I can make first, because if we get enough for the Walking Ballista, we'll just do the Walking Ballista. It depends how long we keep this little chain going. Our opponent's on 0 timeouts once they've run their timer on a lot of things. So once that timer goes to absolute nothing, they will be unable to interact anymore. I'm not sure what they can do at this point, and I'm not going to be playing around anything from them. Well, there's the fizzle. So we're going to run out of mana, but the question is, I think we should go do the Chaos Wand shenanigans, because we can probably get some duress or some. Maybe we can get a duress or something and hit our opponent's hand with it. Yeah, we're nowhere near enough mana for the Walking Ballista. Alright, Chaos Wand coming out. This is going to let us take cards from our opponent's deck. It's a very interesting card we've got here. Exile cards from our opponent's library until we hit an instant or sorcery. Cast it without paying its mana cost. Casting it does trigger Paradox Engine, so we get to untap the wand and do it again as long as we hit something we can cast. So, here we go. Murder, sure. Murder your Aetherborn. So if we hit another removal spell, our turn is almost effectively fizzled, but let's see what else we can hit with this wand. Duress. Now that is something I'm very happy to hit. And I don't see anything I'm worried about. There is a nightmare. Oh, Lord Almighty. Alright, but our opponent's hand is Removal City. And a Moment of Craving with no targets. That won't untap the wand, and I don't need to dress anything out of my opponent's hand, so I'm going to say go. Which is sad. Now we're just waiting on another, like, draw a bunch of cards thing. Our opponent's going to duress away our other Paradox Engine with a duress they just ripped off the top like a boss. But the rest of their hand are blanks, and they should be passing the turn. They don't even have targets for those cards. And I'll just hold up Wand. We'll use it if and when our opponent plays another creature. Okay, they don't, so we'll go after them again in case there are more duresses, doomfalls, things like that we can hit. And the Murder and a Gear Hulk isn't anything that we can play. Hour of Devastation. More duress bait, I guess. But now we're sitting here waiting for something to happen. And this is the part where the deck doesn't feel as glorious. But it's important to know that you're still, like, when we're in a situation like this, sitting on an Hour of Devastation, Chaos Wand, and the combo just waiting to draw the right cards, we're still very advantaged. And I've won a lot of games where I had to sit in this position for a while. It just doesn't feel good when you think you should be going off. Keep running the wand, because why not? There's another duress, let's find it. Lots of removal, cast down, Moment of Craving, Murder, Essence Extraction. Our opponent has no interest in losing to creatures ever. And yeah, we're not going to make you lose to creatures today. We hold these cards because playing them right now generates a lot of mana and wand uses, but we don't need them. Another thing that I tried in the deck was Arcane Encyclopedia at the suggestions of some Twitch viewers, so that every cycle you draw a card. But I did find it very unnecessary. When the deck goes off, like, it's over. When the deck is waiting like this, it's still in pretty... It's in a fine spot. So I didn't find the need to have, like, the Encyclopedia or cards like Arch of Erazka. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And we will take... Whoa. Well, let's didn't put this out. Huh. When it dies, put a counter on a creature you control. Interesting. Gonti. Don't know why our opponent wouldn't play that. I'm going to take that Gonti. That's the kind of thing where if they took the right card, it could be very interesting indeed. Alright, all these cards. Chupa, Lich Knight, Bone Pickers, jeez. And there's the Moment Craving. So I've seen their whole deck now, and they're out of hand disruption. There is the Ballista. You think we can just 20 them? We can try. I may have to do like full control, so I'm using like Paradox Engine untap triggers and Wand with like Murder on the stack targeting my Ballista. Well, let's see how much mana we can make. Shift full control mode. Bring it back now. This is a really like complicated thing of trying to like use Chaos Wand to cast like all the spells in my opponent's deck, targeting my Ballista, and then generate a ton of mana for each one. I don't know if that's actually going to work, but I want to try it. So that's what we're doing. Oh, they can just respond to it with a removal spell on the stack right freaking now. Alright. Well, that's annoying. That should have seen that one coming, huh? It was a really fun trick to try to see if I could, you know, fire off all the removal spells in my opponent's deck at my Ballista, put them all on the stack, and then generate a bunch of mana that way. But yeah, I forgot my opponent could just, in response to this first activation, do this. It's okay. We'll live. I'm a little embarrassed, but I think it's worth trying silly things to learn how it works, especially as you're working with the deck. I've only had the Ballista in for a day, and I haven't played this scenario, so good way to get better. We'll just keep throwing the Ballista ball at our opponent. So, do they draw the land so they can play the Nightmare? Well, they're going to try the Lawless Broker. Let's just fire this off. Get it done. Murder your lawless broker. No, nothing to put a counter on. Knight of Malice, sure. Our opponent's at least trying to get creatures out. The problem is they have to fight through all their own removal spells against Chaos Wand. And they just pack their deck too full of removal spells, is what it is. Casting you down. Would you like to respond by essence extracting your own creature? No? Okay. Just checking. I guess we start holding these again. Does it matter? Yeah, may as well. I pulled my wing contour in the graveyard, so I need to draw a commit to memory anyway, so I don't know if it matters. But our opponent has no hand removal anymore. It's fine. Everything's fine. So, Nightmare, do you want to play? Want to come out and play? Want to come and get it? I guess we have to look at what's left in the deck. There's still a murder, I think. I think they played the full 4 of them, I remember seeing. And our opponent does not want to see their creature murdered. They just can't bear it. Yay, land. Just doing it over here. An Arch of Orazca would go a long way. I'm always paranoid about my mana sources being messed up for the Hour of Devastation, as you do need it on turn 4 for it to be really effective. So that is something I always think about. Oh, the floods. Sounds familiar, right? I'm just gonna play them. I don't care anymore. Let's just make it happen. My battle plan is on the table. What are you gonna do about it? I just think the game doesn't want this video to end, is the way it's been going. So, let's go generate a whole bunch of mana. Commit off the top. Actually, no, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is commit our own Chaos Wand. Since we don't need it right now, really, what we really need to do is bring out the memory. There's not a lot more for us to do with the Chaos Wand in this game, and we just need a target to get the memory into our graveyard. And now we'll cast it and see if we can finish this thing. The Inventor's Fair can get the Ballista. I think we can generate enough mana this time. So prepare to enter Click City. Alright, so let's make some mana. A whole bunch of mana. We're just Hour of Devastating to make mana, in case anybody's like, what's going on? Why would he do this? So we're going to respond to our own spell here. So I'm going to play this Paradox Engine. Yes. Put it on the stack. Alright. We're going to put this Paradox Engine trigger on the stack. We'll resolve it, untap. Now I'm going to tap everything again. I can turn off full control mode now because I'm stopped in the phase I need to be stopped on. And I'm going to commit my own Paradox Engine, which is going to trigger this Paradox Engine again to untap everything. And now we're going to see how big of a ballista we can do. Keep a calculator by the desk, my friends. Just in case. It's not that I can't do Simple math? It's that I don't trust myself to do simple math in the moment. Sometimes simple becomes a lot harder. Oh, I need to make the... Yeah, there we go. Got it. I got scared for a moment that I did it wrong again. All right, fire away. And the opponent will respond with a spell, and we'll just respond with more triggers. All the triggers. It doesn't work to respond to the ballista triggers this way. Not unless I run out of time. Ballista ball! Woo! Keep them coming, one by one. Death by 1,000 cuts. Super pings. Ping city. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Oh, how could I make such situations more entertaining? The countdown. We could play the final countdown. It's the final countdown. 8, 7, 6, 6 maybe. Say it with me. 5. 5? Okay. I can see how this could get annoying. I'll stop. I'm sorry. I'll spare you. Oh, this Teferi avatar. It feels good, though. If you gotta throw your ballista counters at something, make it a Teferi avatar, for God's sake. That's the way it should be. Almost there. One more for the road. Is our opponent going to respond with another removal spell for the lulz? They are. They're not going quietly. Stubborn opponent. Game over, man. Alrighty, this has been the crazy, what I call the Avenger Paradox deck. So lots of props to the Asian Avenger, a very good Twitch streamer you should check out if you get a chance, and a lot of fun playing this build. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit the like button if you like the Jank tank. We'll have more stuff coming for you in the near future. And I'm CGB. Thanks again for watching. I thank you too many times, but honestly, I can't thank you enough. I'll see you later. Bye.